Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Breathing Ink. As you can tell from the camera, this is a very different episode than the first. The first episode I was recording down in AUR's studio. I was recording a podcast with a friend, and for this episode I'm filming from my apartment, and I'm going to be talking about a literary event that happened last week, and I'll be sharing some footage of that with you today. And just to reiterate a little bit what Breathing Ink is about, it's a space for writers and storytellers to get together and just share, discuss, and inspire each other. And for this episode, I wanted to go beyond AUR's studio and AUR's campus and go into the literary and creative world of Rome, especially the one that's available for English language speakers. I remember when I first told people, or even now sometimes when I tell people that I study English writing in Italy, they ask me what I'm doing or why I'm doing that. And so for a while I thought that there was nothing available for English speakers in Italy, but that is not true at all. There's this whole community of English language speakers and writers who want to do exactly what I want to do with this show. They want to get together and share and discuss, and there are so many opportunities in Rome for people to get connected with and to meet other creatives, and it's very cool. And so I wanted to share a little piece of that world with you today. So last Wednesday I went to Garbo bar in Trastevere. It's a little bar that does open mic nights every Wednesday called Suddenly Every Wednesday, and the readers are usually all in English, and the readers aren't necessarily writers. People just share things that they read and that they liked, and every week it changes. Some weeks are very hilarious and light, and some Wednesdays are more serious. And so I wanted to go to Garbo and get some footage of some of the readers and maybe share something of my own. And it turned out to be quite different from what I expected, but it was a wonderful surprise, and I'm really excited to talk about it today. So when I went last week, I was hoping that I would see one of my professors there. She always talks about Garbo, and I know that she's well connected with it and is close friends with the owner. So I thought, it would be cool if I saw this professor and I could tell her about the project and what I'm doing. So I showed up, and it was actually her birthday, and they were throwing her a birthday party, and I didn't expect to crash a birthday party, but that's what happened, and it was incredible. So that night people were reading things celebrating the name Elizabeth, since my professor's name is Elizabeth. So people were reading things that were about an Elizabeth or written by an Elizabeth, anything that had an Elizabeth character, and people got so creative with it. One woman wrote a hilarious little quiz thing about names in general. That turned out, it was so hilarious. This British guy who owns the Almost Corner bookshop was there, and he read, and just the atmosphere was great. Everyone was celebrating, and it turned out to be very cool. So I'm going to share some footage of some of the readers that I saw that night, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
I did leaf through about 20 novels that I have around my room looking for an Elizabeth character, and there aren't that many, I discovered in my library anyway. And so anyway, this is about Elizabeth Taylor, completely. Just and it's not by Elizabeth Taylor, it's just really some interesting facts about a rather extraordinary woman with an amazing sense of style and talent. So let's see. She was born She was born with a rare genetic mutation, which meant that she had a double row of eyelashes, which contributed greatly to her later success.
James gave Elizabeth a dodo. He only offered one to me. The loveliest lemon-coloured dodo with the greenest eyes that you could wish to see. Now, it isn't that I'm doubting that James loves me, and I'm sure that he would ask me out to tea, but he did give Elizabeth a dodo, and he never even offered one to me.
If anyone wants a lemon tart, they're over here.
I'm glad I didn't follow.
I'm gonna read from Puragoa Lawe.
Okay.
Lawa. And I apologize if I don't pronounce things right, but I'll do my best. I wasn't. It was on the road to Denpasar to renew her visa when she'd landed upon it. The driver Putu had just swerved around a scooter, the 3 kids perched upon it and leaning, then veered toward the shoulder where a woman with bare feet and a hiked-up sarong crouched, jabbing a stick at a burning plastic bag. Smoke snaking through the open windows of the vehicle, her morning dose of jamu sloshing in her stomach, telltale wave of the motion sickness that plagued her. Stare straight, she reminded herself. Eyes on the horizon. But there was no horizon, only a knot of traffic as they slowed to a crawl for the tail end of a passing procession making its way into a walled temple, its guardian statues resembling fierce cartoons.
Then I had to figure out what to read. And there's this essay called Fictions of America, so I just want to read like the first 2 pages or something like that. And there's an opening quote by Jacques Vacher, and it's like basically says, no one should be judged by the country from which they come. Imaginative literature does not have a long history in the United States, so it's like a takedown of American fiction in some ways, because she's just so mean. It is not even as old as the country itself, the strange world always ferociously impatient to reach the 20th century, bored with the notion of peasantry, ready from Plymouth Rock for the Model T, without ivied ruin in its landscape. And proud enough to be young, its youth, as Oscar Wilde observed in his velvet wanderings to the mining camps, being its oldest tradition. It was not until the 19th century that our fertile surroundings produced our handful of reassuring genius in the art of literature. Hawthorne, Melville, Emerson, Whitman, Poe, Emily Dickinson, each his own patron, you might say, starting anew, giving a special visionary aspect to Ben Franklin's, I just wanted to say Benjamino, Franklin's assurance that God helps those who help themselves.
Are the following italicized names pseudonyms used by American female expats in Rome trying to reserve a table at Da Flavio, or are these the names of famous Italian porn stars? All right. Circle P for pseudonym or PS for porn star. Anyways, since you can't circle it, you can just take a guess. All right. So number 1, Abigail Benson, Angelica Bella. Pseudonym or porn star? It is a porn star.
Porn star.
Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed some of those readers. It really was great to hear everyone and what they came up with in order to celebrate this name. And it was really enjoyable. My professor had had this big tray of lemon tarts there, and she was passing them out to everyone in between readings, and it turned out to just be a really cool night. And I would highly encourage anyone to stop by Garbo on Wednesday nights and just observe or take part in this open mic night suddenly every Wednesday. It's really cool. I also encourage everyone to explore this creative world available for English language speakers and writers, because there is a lot out there, and Garbo Bar is just one little piece of it. So I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks.